Well, people, we have finally soon arrived to the 17th European Championship. And what a tournament we're going to have. Finally, it's in one country and not the bogus that we saw last time around, where it was in Azerbaijan to Denmark to Russia to Spain to Gibraltar, wherever, San Marino. It's all going to go down in Germany. But everybody, as we always do with these international tournaments, we got a special intro.
Intenta irse por velocidad.
Here's Hammett, and it may get worse. It's the hat! Turkey have won it, surely! Oh, it's extraordinary!
Il y a du monde, il y a Trezeguet. Ah oui! L'équipe de France est championne d'Europe! L'équipe de France est championne d'Europe! A fazer um remate!
Siamo campioni d'Europa!
That's what we do, people. That's what we do on the Michael Talks Football channel. When it gets to the Asian Cup, AFCON, Euros, Copa America, World Cup, we always got to do a special intro for the tournament. And now we are soon there, people. 9 more days. 9 more days. But today, we're going to do a live stream. We haven't done a live stream in about 2 weeks. If you hear a fan, tell me now, because it is goddamn hot here in Finland and the apartment is like a sauna. But of course, we are here to see my predictions. Of course, I'm going to be 100% on this. No questions asked. You know I am the GOAT predictor. I'm obviously going to get some wrong. As we did see with my World Cup predictions, I did predict Denmark to the final, but we didn't hear that. So I'm going to obviously give my group stage predictions. Then we're going to go with the knockout stage and who I think will win the 17th European Championship. Are we going to get a first-time winner? Is another team going to win it? Like Germany again, Spain, France? Who will win it, people? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below if you're watching on replay. The goal for the like count today, and when this video gets released, is 500 likes. Hey, we got to dream big, people. Dream big. It is the European Championships. But big up to everybody in the house. We already got 43 of you crazy mofos in the house. And big up to everybody. Big up to Alexi. Thank you very much for your kind comments, Alexi. Thank you very much. Big up to Kurt Barlow as well. Big up to Darius. Big up. Big up. Big up, Patrick. Big up, Martin. Big up to Ian. Big up to Elevator. Big up to Matt. Oh, we got a lot of people in the house. Yosore, Ibrahim, Elevator, Aldi. How you doing, Aldi? Big up, Aldi. He came on to contribute for the Albanian video. Big up to Aldi. Big up to Mom Paras. Mitä jätkä? Pitkä saika. Big up to Mahai. How are you doing? Bruno. Eder. Big up to Tendime as well. Of course, Ward. Of course. I had to. It is hot here. You are Tendime. Big up to Kurt. Big up to Andrea. Big up to Anthony. How you all doing? We got a lot of people in the house. Big up to Meko. Big up to Shamo. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day as well, Shamo. Hopefully you are as well. Big up to AD. Big up to No. Big up to Kiet. And big up to Michelle. So, wow. Wait. Yeah, isn't your name Ivan? That's weird. Big up to Schwartzy as well. All right, everybody. So, I want you to get your predictions as we go group by group. We're obviously going to go group A, B. You get it, alphabetical order. And then when it gets to the round of 16 and quarterfinals, I want to hear all your predictions. I'm sure everybody has done their bracket. If you've not done your bracket, pause the video right now. And then once you do your bracket, continue watching all of it. Possibly, Ian. I'm not going to boister or really be arrogant, but I've been covering these Euro qualifiers from the beginning. Where we watched almost Kazakhstan qualify for this Euros. So I've covered all of the qualifiers. You know, obviously other channels do international football, but every international break, we talk about the Euro qualifiers. We're talking about the AFCON qualifiers. We're talking about the World Cup qualifiers. So hopefully I can get somewhat of these predictions wrong, or else it was all just a waste of time. Big up to Timothy. How you doing, buddy? Big up to Timothy. So let us begin, people. Let's do it this way. This is a lot better. Oh, the host, Deutschland, Germany. Are they going to do it this time around, people? Are they going to win this group? Or are they going to make it very difficult for themselves like they've done at the last Euros where they struggled against Hungary and almost didn't even make it out of the group? They almost didn't make it out of the group. With Nagelsmann as manager, it's crazy how in football, just a month, 2 games can change the complete narrative of an entire national team. Everybody was if the Euro started in 2023, I think a lot of people would pick Germany to finish last or even second last. That's how diabolical they were. But their players are in form. We see how Dortmund did, even though, some of the Dortmund players didn't get selected. I am very intrigued to see how Nagelsmann is going to do with this team. This team are ready. They have a lot of youngsters and a lot of good players, as we have seen. And we see how well Bayer Leverkusen have done. So Jonathan Tah, Andrik, and these sort of guys, they're going to be crucial for this team. Mittelstadt from Stuttgart. And what about the return and the final dance for Toni Kroos? Is Toni Kroos really, in his last season, about to win a Champions League, a league title, and a European Championship? Is this what Toni Kroos is about to do? Because if he does that, he's winning the Ballon d'Or. But I don't really care about the Ballon d'Or that much. But if he does achieve that and is pivotal for Germany, you have no arguments. Toni Kroos will do it. But for this group, I think Germany are the favorites. And I think a lot of people would pick Germany. So I'm just going to straight away put Germany at first place. I don't think anybody can have questions about it. Yes, are we maybe overhyping this team after only 2 games? And yeah, they're only friendlies, Michael. Let's see how they do in a big tournament. Well, we're going to find out next week on Wednesday when they take on Scotland. It's going to be fascinating to see how Germany, if they can start off with 2 wins, I think they're going to grow with more and more confidence. And then when it gets to maybe around a 16 quarterfinal, we could see like pure Nagelsmann and Deutschland football. It would be beautiful to watch. So let's get to then who I think will be in second place. And in second place, I think it will be Hungary. And we have discussed it many times on this channel with the qualifiers, with the Nations League, and heading into this tournament. And when I did my preview, Hungary are definitely dark horses. I think they can go very far in this tournament because, yeah, they don't have the quality of Germany or quality of Croatia, quality of Italy, England, or any of these teams. But we see Hungary, and a lot of people did say this in my comments under the preview for Hungary. They play up to their competition. Well, it's fantastic because they're going to play up to their competition. There's no Lithuania, Bulgaria, Montenegro. There's none of those teams here. Hungary mean business. They mean business, right? We saw what happened to last Euros. They were super competitive, except for the Portugal game where I think there was 3-0 loss they had. Hungary were competitive. Now, after beating England 4-0 recently in Nations League, beating Serbia, I mean, Hungary, they're ready. I think they're ready to now take that next step in going far at an international tournament. Can Dominik Szoboszlai, oh yes, let's say this. Dominik Szoboszlai had a great start to Liverpool and then just faded away. Absolutely faded away. He did not have good. But when he puts on the captain's armband for his national team, we see a completely different Szoboszlai. Completely different Szoboszlai. So I think Hungary, with the system they have, Marco Rossi as manager, I think they are primed to make a deep run in this tournament. And I think they will finish second in this group. I think they are a better team than Scotland. And they are neck and neck with Switzerland. So then it gets to the question of who's going to finish last. Well, and when I did initially my early predictions video, and that's why I only do early and not, that's not my actual predictions, is I'm not too confident with Switzerland. No, I'm not. But Scotland have had a couple of key injuries with Ferguson and Lyndon Dykes now both out of the Euros. Yes, they still have Scott McSauce. They still have John McGinn, Robertson, Tierney, and all these guys. But the one thing that will be the detriment to Scotland is not having a striker or any sort of attacking threat. I think they have a good midfield, good defensively, but when it gets to the attack, do they have the counter? Because when we saw them against Norway away, they were 1-0 down and didn't play good. I did a watch along for the game. They didn't play good. But all of a sudden, they got 2 goals in 2 minutes and they won the game. And that's how I think they were able to then get confidence and then qualify to the Euros. So it's going to be tough for Scotland. But for Switzerland, it's another case of, what about Murat Yakin? I mean, do the players trust him? Do the Swiss people trust him? I wouldn't. After that debacle that we saw at the World Cup losing 6-1, come on. You should be sacked for that. Allowing Gonzalo Ramos a career and telling PSG to buy him for 80 million. That can't go. But Switzerland, we know, they might not be great in qualifiers or pre-tournament and friendlies or anything like that. But when the tournament starts, they show up. They definitely show up. And that's one thing I really respect with Switzerland. And they got Granit Xhaka and Akanji. Another key issue is, though, Mbolo has to be, I think, fully fit and really in form. If Mbolo is in form, cool. Then Switzerland can go far in this tournament. But with this group, it's really going to come down to Switzerland, Scotland. And they got to look at each other and say, we got to beat you. Because we know 3 points is going to be enough in a not so terrible goal difference. I think the last tournament was -1 or -2 goal difference, and that was enough. Switzerland, no. Just keep it simple, and you can go far in this tournament and get around. But I think Switzerland are going to finish third, and Scotland, unfortunately, sorry to all my Scots. I did have a bit more confidence in them during the qualifiers. I was like, oh my God, look at Scotland. They're beating Spain at home. They're beating Norway. But I don't know if this team is ready. Remember, people, this is a very interesting fact. Very interesting. Scotland have never, ever progressed out of the group. Ever. World Cups, Euros, never. So it's going to take a monumental effort. I hope the Scottish people do it because the Tartan army is fantastic. But this is my prediction. Germany first, Hungary second, Switzerland third, Scotland fourth. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me know your thoughts in the chat immediately. I see everybody in the chat. We got 116 people and all the messages going through. I saw, shout out to Albert, shout out to Doug. I see you guys in the chat. Shout out to Tony, Jordan Hyman, shout out to 10 Dime, Eddie. Big up to you all. Get involved in the chat. Remember to hit the like button, all that beautiful stuff. As we now get to the, shall we say, the group of deaf people, Group B. Now, this is going to be a fun group, people. Let me start at the bottom. Now, as much as I love Albania, I got to whoa. There we go. Shout out to all my Albanians. I think they're going to make it very difficult for the rest of these opponents, but they are. If Albania were in Group C or Group D, no, not Group D. If they were in Group E or Group C, I think Albania could finish third. But they are with Spain. They are with Croatia. And they are with Italy. That is a daunting task for Albania. They're going to need Zabaleta to conjure up a masterclass of a defensive shape, really, and Silvino to have a masterclass on how to transition with the ball. The key for Albania is the counterattacks have to be elite, super elite, like they did against Czech Republic and like they did against Poland. They were so good on the counterattack, and they scored some Puskás-worthy goals. They're going to have to do that at an all-time level. I hope they can prove me wrong, Albania, and they can shock some people. I've seen this too many times in international tournaments. The prime example for me is Costa Rica in 2014. They were in a group with Uruguay, Italy, and England. And who won that group, people? Who won that group? Costa Rica. So if you're Albanian and you're the Albanian players, you have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. And that's the sort of mentality that they should just go out there and express themselves. You don't have to be so nervous or cagey with the games. Take it to Croatia. Take it to Italy. Spain, it's a bit difficult because they love to keep possession. But I hope the Albanians prove me wrong. I just think they're in a very difficult group. Very, very difficult group. Now it gets to the top three. Now this top three is very difficult to predict. And I see a lot of people in the chat actually going with Spain, Croatia to finish first. I'm going to start with who I think will be in third place. Now this team are defending champions of the European Championship. They have a new manager with Spalletti, who's been now manager for 8 to 9 games. Italy, when they went into that last Euros, they were in amazing form. They were playing great football. Mancini just had the perfect formula. Perfect formula. Now it's a bit of a, not the greatest preparation for this Euros. We see now injuries and injuries. Scalvini now injured. That's not great. Obviously, Berardi had the Achilles tear. So a lot of the key players for Italy are getting injuries, like Udogi, but Udogi won't start because it's Di Marco. But Italy, they have a good defense. They have a, when he puts on the Italian kit, Donnarumma is a fantastic goalkeeper. PSG, that's a different story. That's a different story. When he puts that Italian kit on, Donnarumma turns into prime Oliver Kahn. Prime Oliver Kahn. But one thing I would definitely worry with Italy is they have to get the best of Scamacca or Retegui, whoever starts a striker, and Chiesa needs to find that form that he had in 2021. Because we've seen with Chiesa this season, last season, obviously he's dealing with injuries and he's dealing with a manager who completely misuses him all the time in Allegri, who's now thankfully gone from Juventus. But I hope somehow Italy, they have to be defensively solid. And they have those key players like Bastoni, Buongiorno, and these sort of guys. I just worry about the attack if they can get enough goals. In this group, you can have a good defensive game, but you need to have an attack because Spain will keep possession. Croatia will keep possession. What about Italy? Like Jorginho, Barella, like Locatelli didn't even get selected, which I found crazy. How did Locatelli not get selected? How? He's not been terrible with Juventus. He's not been great. Locatelli should have been selected. But Scamacca has to start. He has to start. Even though Retegui is good with the Azzurri, Scamacca, the form he's in right now, who knows how he's going to play at this Euros? Who knows? Do you see some of the goals he's scoring for Atalanta? I know people are going to say, oh, Michael, watch him in the Europa League final. Did he do anything? No. Watch Scamacca for Atalanta in the Serie A. He's balling out. So he's going to have to play like prime Baggio out here. He's going to have to get any of the goals. This is tough. I mean, I'm going to have Italy in third place. I'm going to have them in third place. But you'll see, I think they will still progress to the round of 16. Now, who's going to top this group? Spain or Croatia? A similar situation to 2016. Obviously, Croatia topped that group because they beat Spain in the final game. And this is a rematch of the round of 16 from the last Euros, where it was an epic game. 3-1 lead for Spain. Croatia came back with an incredible comeback, and then Spain won it in extra time. The only thing I would wait with Croatia is who's going to start at striker. Is it going to be Petkovic, Budimir? We know what they got, people. They got an elite midfield. They got a great defense. Like Gvardiol, whichever position he's going to play, either center back or left back, is going to be OP. And Livakovic in goal, we know how good of a goalkeeper Livakovic is. It's just always the question mark with Croatia is, do they have enough goal scorers? We always say that before a tournament, and then this guy steps up, that guy steps up. One game it's Basilic, the next game it's Perisic, the next game it's Petkovic. It's not just one guy. Maybe back in the day when it was Mandzukic, yeah, Mandzukic was that guy. Now everybody just steps up. And again, they didn't have a great qualifiers. But how many times have we said that for Croatia in the last 2 decades? It's always been like that for Croatia. Go through the playoffs, and then make this group tough. But Spain are a good team. They're not great defensively, though. Spain are going to concede goals. If you're Italy, Albania, and Croatia, you have to look at the Spanish defense and say, we can get goals here. We can get goals here. Because that defense, they might have a great attack, but the defense is weak. It's weak. Instead of having Paella, they're just putting Cantona in it instead, when it should be fresh Camarons. Instead, it's just Cantona. We don't want the Cantona defense. We want the freshest Paella possible. And Spain with that defense are not good. The 2 center backs are not strong enough. They're not. And if it's Unai Simon in goal, well, we've seen countless times that this guy cannot be relied upon. Cannot be relied upon. So call me crazy, I would start David Raya. I would. Oh, the midfield. That midfield. Oh, that midfield. Pedri, Rodri, Dani Olmo. Then in attack, you got Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal. And if Morata could just show up, cool. Then Spain got an elite attack. They have shown during the qualifiers, they're a great attacking team. They can score goals, but defensively, they cannot keep a clean sheet. So when you look back at the day from the 2008 to 2012, they were good defensively because they just kept possession of the ball, but also they had very good defenders. Now that's not the case. They can keep possession of the ball, and I think with Luis de la Fuente, they want to be a bit more direct. But I still think I'm going to put Croatia second and Spain first. The top three is a toss-up. You could put it any order you want, people. I think a lot of people would agree that Albania are going to finish last. And that's no disrespect to Albania, because I've said this during qualifiers and with my preview with Albi, that they are a good team. This is a gauntlet for them. They're going to have to go through Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, and Alexander Usyk. I would have said Tyson Fury, but that guy got knocked out. That's the sort of road that Albania are going to have to take, and let's see. But Spain first, Croatia second, Italy third, and Albania fourth. Let me know your thoughts, people, in the comments down below. What would be your predictions for Group B? As we move on to Group C. Now, this should be a little bit of a quick predictions and nothing short. But everybody, remember to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And if one of the people from the Discord could send the invite link into the chat, that would be perfect, so I can pin it for everybody. So then you guys can join the MTF Discord, where we can talk about the Euros, talk about the Copa America, and all the beautiful stuff around the beautiful game. Or we can talk about movies, even though some movies nowadays are absolute garbage. So let's get to Group C then. So we got Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, and England. Now, let me just do this quickly. All right, there we go. Cool. Yep. I mean, does anybody have any disagreements? One thing I will say, though, I don't think England are getting 9 points. They have never in their history in the Euros gotten 9 points. If I remember correctly, they have never. Now, if somehow Southgate bottles this, right, and doesn't get first place in this group, oh, England are screwed. Oh, they're screwed. Yeah, then you could say, oh, it's okay, Michael. They still have a good team. They could face a tough opponent in the round of 16, but they could still beat them. No. If England somehow finished second in this group, or even like in a crazy third, oh boy. Nah, but England they're too good of a team, people. I know we saw Henderson didn't get selected. Maybe Southgate is actually transforming. He's molding into a new manager. Think about it, people. And then we maybe think about it tactically. I think England will get 7 points in this group. They're going to drop points to somebody. I don't know who, but they will drop points to somebody. They did it in 2016. They did it in 2018? Wait. Yes, 2018. Same thing in 2021. They drew with Scotland. So they're going to drop points to some team. I don't know who, but we'll see. I think everybody will agree England first. Now it gets to second, third, and fourth. This is going to be an interesting debate. Because do you trust any of these teams? Actually, maybe some people would trust more Slovenia than Denmark and Serbia, even though Denmark did beat Slovenia in the qualifying group. So those two teams are familiar with each other. Slovenia know how Denmark play, and Denmark know how Slovenia play. And then what about Serbia? Now, Serbia are one of the biggest wild cards in this tournament, because either they're going to play really good football, or they're just going to be the same old Serbia, aka the LA Clippers of international football, where you put just a little inch of trust in them, you're done. That's the Serbian national team for you. You put an inch of trust in these guys, they will break your heart. They are basically, are they the Kim Kardashians of football? Nah, they're not really. No, that's some other team. Has to be some other team. But it's going to be fascinating to see how Serbia do it this Euros, because we know they got a good attack and they got a good midfield. That defense, I mean, there is no defense. That's the thing. There is no defense. And Pixie, is not going to change. He's too stubborn. He's going to continue with this 3-5-2, and it's going to backfire on Serbia. If he will change it, then I'll be like, okay, maybe Serbia could be a little bit better. But he's too stubborn. He will not change his ways. So I'm a little bit worried for Serbia. They're going to have to outscore every opponent. Like I said in my preview for Serbia, they're going to have to outscore every opponent. They're going to have to win 3-1, 3-2, 4-3-4. So I don't like, if people bet, I don't bet myself. If you bet something in this Euros, Serbia for over 3.5 goals in a game between the two teams, not just Serbia, because it is going to be high scoring. We saw that at the World Cup, 3-3 with Cameroon when they're 3-1 up. Lost 3-2 to Switzerland. They're going to concede goals. But Slovenia, Obviously, I've watched them a lot during Euro qualifiers as they were in the same group as Finland. Very impressed by them. Very impressed. They're a very organized team, and they just rely on, of course, you know who, Benjamin Šeško. If this kid can play the way he played in that last 7 games in the Bundesliga, Šeško is going to be a monster at this Euros. He's going to be a monster because some of the goals I've seen with Slovenia, it's unbelievable. Have you seen that volley he scored against Sweden? The one-on-one chance he had against Finland where he buried it and he just chipped Lukas Radecki. Like, Šeško is a monster, and he's only getting started. So I cannot wait to watch him at this Euros. And they obviously got Oblak, and they have a lot of good players, Slovenia. They are an organized team, and they've sort of been building towards this moment. They had a good Nations League. Now they had a very good Euro qualifiers and qualified for their first European Championship since 2000. I think they could be a sleeper team, you know? Slovenia could be a sleeper team. But do they have enough to beat Denmark and Serbia? That's going to be the key issue. And what about Denmark? Another wild card team, because I saw a lot of people in my Denmark preview video, they're like, yeah, we don't trust the manager. We don't trust the manager. Look, I can understand Kasper Hjulmand lately has not been doing a good job. But you have to remember, Denmark still made it to the semifinals of the last Euros. They got quality on their team. Another key thing for them is striker. What about Rasmus Højlund? He's got to show up. A theme will occur a lot in these Euros. Strikers, strikers, strikers. Which striker is going to stand out? You know, we talk about Skamaka. What about Budimir, Morata, Kane, either Havertz or Füllkrug, Šeško, Rasmus Højlund? Strikers are going to be the number one thing that will be the difference in this Euros. Every team has, I think, a decent midfield and decent defense, but who's got that one guy who's going to step up in the critical moments? And maybe it could be Rasmus Højlund, who some people have said he's not been great with Man United. I don't think it's entirely his fault. Has his performances been great? No, but he's still a young kid, and I think he can grow into a better player and a better player. But the issue for Denmark is Kasper Hjulmand's tactics. And you have to have the right midfield. If you play a midfield of Højbjerg, Thomas Delaney, and Eriksen, you're going to get crucified. You're going to get murdered. Absolutely murdered. You cannot play that midfield. While they have all been very good midfielders, maybe Højbjerg could start. Christian Eriksen, we see the legs are gone. Thomas Delaney, the legs are gone. So what's the sort of midfield combination that Kasper Hjulmand will go with? That's going to be an interesting thing. This is tough, you know. I've really been thinking like, okay, who's going to finish second, third, and fourth? You know what? I think I might go with surprise here. I've kind of been thinking I might go with the surprise here. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this. I think Slovenia can surprise Denmark and Serbia. That Slovenia and Serbia game, oh, that's going to be tense. Oh, it's going to be tense. I cannot wait for that. And we know Denmark, they want to get some revenge on England. And there's always a shock, people. There's always a shock. So why can it not be Slovenia? I think if Slovenia, they look at their opponents in Serbia and Denmark and they're like, we can beat you. Well, why can't Slovenia look at Denmark and say, yeah, okay, we lost to you in Copenhagen. We drew with you at home. Why? I think Slovenia can be a surprise in this tournament. Now, do I think they can make it to the semifinals? Now, let's not get delusional. I'm not smoking the Snoop Dogg pack. I'm not doing that. But I just have no trust in Serbia. Šeško is going to look at that Serbian mid defense and he's going to say barbecue chicken like Shaq. Even though Shaq cannot speak any Slovenian, as we have seen with Luka Doncic. He can't. So Šeško is going to look at that Serbian defense and think to himself, I'm going to eat well tonight. Now, the Denmark game, I have no clue how that's going to go between Slovenia and Denmark. No clue. But hey, I think it's the first place is a guarantee in Group C. It's a guarantee. Now the issue will be is who do you have second, third, and fourth? And I'm fascinated to see what you guys say in the chat and what do you say in the comments down below. What is your prediction for Group C? Is it England first and then who's finishes second, third, and fourth? Maybe I'm disrespecting Serbia too much, but I think we have seen in the past. You put any trust in these guys? Now, look, they have Mitrovic, they have Vlahovic, Tadic, Milinkovic-Savic. I tell you these names, and you say, Michael, wow, you know what? They can make it to a quarterfinal. And you're like, yeah, that's what people are going to do, right? People are going to look at Serbia's lineup like this, people who don't really follow international football, they're going to look at that lineup and be like, wow, Vlahovic, Mitrovic, Kostic. No, it's a good team. Good team. Watch them play. Watch them play. Watch them play. All right. Shout out to my Serbians. Shout out to Tendan. Thank you very much for your kind donation, buddy. Thank you very much for your kind donation. He says, if Croatia is KSI...
That is blasphemous.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. You're that's a good one, Tendan. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh man. I cannot believe I just saw that. I cannot believe I just saw that. So let me know, people. Am I going crazy with Slovenia second? Am I overhyping them too much? Or do you think Šeško and co could really rise to the occasion? They're another team that don't have a lot of pressure on them. Now, Group D. Now, this is the group of death alongside Group B. Both of them are group of deaths. We got Netherlands. We got France, Polska, and Austria. Now, sorry to all my Polish people, man. Shout out to my heritage. Shout out to Poland. Yeah, this is going to be a long tournament for them. This is going to be a very, very long tournament. They need to order all the food possible and the vodka and just say, you know what? After that third match day, we're going to go home. We're going to go straight to, I don't know, some Polish coastal town like Gdansk, and we're just going to go party there and enjoy our off season. That's what Poland should be doing. Because what I've seen in qualifiers, I mean, thank God Fernando Santos is not manager. Because if we saw that guy at another Euros, at another international tournament, I would have puked. I would have puked. I would have written a message to The Hague and said, can you please take Fernando Santos and trial him? But he got sacked. Good job, Polish FA. Good job, Polish FA. You should have not done it in the first place. We all warned you. But for Poland, it's going to be very difficult because, yes, they have good players like Kiwior, Lewandowski, all of these guys. Zielinski, who hasn't had a great season with Napoli because they've basically frozen him out. I just don't see a lot of positives for Poland. They don't really have pressure in this tournament. They had pressure in 2018. They had pressure in 2016. 2016, they rose to the challenge. They made it to the quarterfinal, and, unfortunately, they lost on penalties to Portugal. But this time around, there's no expectation because, it's a generational change with this Polish team. It's most likely going to be Lewandowski's last tournament. Szczesny's going to have to be superhuman like we saw with at the World Cup. Like, Szczesny put in some absolutely man-of-the-match performances. It wasn't enough, but I just don't think they can match with these other teams. They can't. We saw, if you are losing and getting this was the prime example of Poland, and I don't think it's solely down to Fernando Santos, but it has to go down to the players as well. You are 2-0 up against Moldova. 2-0 up against Moldova, and you lose 3-2? That is inexcusable. That should basically bury the FA. Not even the team. The FA should be down after bottling that. So I think Poland, they were very sort of not really fortunate, I would say, to qualify because, they beat Wales on penalties. It was not really the most entertaining of games. It was very scrappy, and you kind of just felt throughout that game that it was just going to go to penalties. So maybe Poland can surprise. I just don't see it. There's a lot of mess within the FA. I think it's a fourth. But hey, you know what? They can play spoiler for one of these teams. Maybe they can play spoiler. All right, now it gets to first, second, third. Now, I'm just going to do this quickly because I think everybody will have them first place. It is France. It is France. We know what Didier Deschamps and this team are about. They need a response after the last Euros. They had a good response at the World Cup. They had a lot of injuries heading into that World Cup, and making it to the final, I think, is really some achievement. Because they had a lot of key players out. Now, this time, N'Golo Kante is back. And let's see if Kante is the difference. I think with this, with the objective with this France team, it's to win the Euros. Nothing short, nothing less. It's to win it. Now, are they in a difficult group? Yeah. France better be prepared. They cannot take this group lightly one bit. If they take it lightly, like they did against Switzerland in round of 16 at the last Euros, hey, France will be in trouble. France will be in trouble. but I think they will be very much motivated on going far in this tournament and winning it. And they have a lot of young players. The most interesting thing with this French team is, what is Didier Deschamps going to do with the center backs? Are you going to play Saliba? Are you going to play Konate? What is the two center back pairing? I think everywhere else it's pretty much guaranteed the starting 11. Maybe also striker. Could it be Thuram? Is it going to be Giroud? We know Deschamps loves Giroud, so it could be Giroud. But France are just loaded with talent, people. I mean, the fact that they didn't take Olise and some other guys, like Lacazette's had an incredible season. He didn't even get selected. I mean, that just shows the ridiculous talent that France have. And we know Griezmann and Mbappe, they're the difference makers. If those two are not with this national team, you think to yourself, do they have game changers? Yeah, you got Dembele, but we know with Dembele, he put up one of the worst finals performances I have ever seen. One of the worst. But with this Euros, France will win this group. Now it gets to who will be second place. Now, I had a lot of people saying, oh, Michael, why don't you rate Netherlands? Why don't you rate Netherlands? It's not that I don't rate Netherlands. It's just they didn't play well in Euro qualifiers. They didn't. Now, yes, they had a lot of injuries, and, Ronald Koeman was going with a bunch of different tactics and formations to really figure out his best personnel. Now, there's no excuses. Ronald Koeman's got to coach a good game now. Like, you cannot say, oh, there's no injuries. You got your players. Now coach. Because we saw at Barcelona, there was no coaching. I mean, you got dumped by Rayo Vallecano, and that was your last game as Barca manager. Ronald Koeman now needs to show I thought he was great with Netherlands before he took the Barca job. And since he got sacked by Barca, Ronald Koeman's been acting weird. He's been acting weird. If they can sort out their defense, Netherlands are a good team. They have quality. And I saw some people saying, Michael, Holland have a striker. They got Brian Brobby. I mean, are we serious? Are we serious? Yes, Brian Brobby has done well with Ajax this season. Are we really going to expect that Brian Brobby is going to turn into prime Van Persie at this Euros? No, he isn't. No, he isn't. But otherwise, I really like the midfield. They got good fullbacks, even though I don't understand the life of me why Ronald Koeman didn't take Ian Maatsen. Ian Maatsen was selected to the Champions League team of the season, and he didn't get selected. Clearly, Ronald Koeman ain't watching football then. He isn't. So, yes, there's some question marks with this team, but I still rate them. I rate Van Dijk. I rate Matthias de Ligt. I think Matthias de Ligt, some people say, oh, this guy's a trash defender. Matthias de Ligt has had a very good season with Bayern, and they've been a mess. But let's find out. And then Austria, I said it in my preview, they are one of the dark horses for this Euros. The thing that's worrying me is, how are they going to look without David Alaba and Schlager? Because those two were really key in sort of Ralf Rangnick building this team, and they play really good football. Pressing, counter-pressing, ball movement. It's always a win mentality with Ralf Rangnick. And I think Austria can go toe-to-toe with France and Netherlands. They can definitely go toe-to-toe. It's just those two key players missing. That's if they lose to somebody, like, God forbid, and knock on wood, if somehow like Sabitzer or Nico Seifeld got injured, oh man, I really would be worried for Austria, especially in the midfield. No, I'm still going to go. This is what I'm doing. No. See, if Austria maybe had their fully fit team, I would go with Austria second and then Netherlands third. But too many injuries. I think they're still going to progress out of this group, and you'll see with the third place teams. I still think Austria will get out of this because everybody's going to beat Poland. I mean, everybody. Sorry, my Polish people. Sorry, I really do apologize, but it's not looking good for them. And France will win this group. So let me know your thoughts, people. Who's going to win Group D? Do you agree with my predictions, or are you going with a different scenario? Maybe Netherlands will top this group. Who knows? Even though we did see in the qualifiers that France dunked on them twice. All right, now let's get to Group B. We got two more groups, and then we get to the knockout stage. Nice to see a lot of people in the house. We got how many people in the house? We got 189 people, and we're not even 100 likes. Wow. Shame. Absolute shame. All right, let's get to Group B then. I'm going to do this one quickly here, right? This is how I'm going to go with it. That's how I'm going to go with it. Just like that. Slovakia and Romania are going to battle out for third place. They're going to battle it out for third place. Now, I don't know which one to go with. Some minutes I'm like, yep, I'm going to go with Romania. Then the other day I'm like, oh, I'm going to go with Slovakia. Both have shown in Euro qualifiers that they are very good teams. I would not be shocked if that game ends 0-0 or 1-1. Would not be shocked because, yes, they both have, I think, good defense. I would say Slovakia have a much better attack than Romania, and Romania have a much better defense than Slovakia because Slovakia did give up chances to Luxembourg and they gave up goals to Portugal. But Slovakia, where they could win the battle against Romania would probably be the midfield, but Romania just don't give up a lot of goals. Romania are going to be a very stubborn team in this group. Very stubborn team. They're going to try to keep it 1-1 or they somehow get a 1-0. That's going to be the key for Romania. And I think they have the confidence. They beat Switzerland. They came back against Switzerland 2-0 down. Yes, look, some people are going to refer to the Colombia game. That was Romania's second. I think it was their B team mostly when I checked the lineup. It was mostly their B team. So it's really going to come down to Romania and Slovakia. Who's going to finish third? For me, at least. Now, Ukraine and Belgium. I'm still going to go with Belgium first, but Ukraine could definitely beat Belgium. I would not think it out of possibility. Ukraine are a damn good team. The only way Ukraine, what Ukraine have to do? They just have to go 1-0 down in every game, and they'll win the game. Because they did that in Euro qualifiers in the playoffs, and against North Macedonia, they were 2-0 down. That's the way Ukraine just say, hey, cool, you take a 1-0 lead. Well, we'll come back. But think about this, Dovbyk. Dovbyk, it was the La Liga. Let me repeat this, people. Was La Liga top goal scorer. La Liga. Artem Dovbyk in his first season. Now, Mudrik's had a very frustrating career with Chelsea. We all knew that was not going to work. They paid a lot of money. I feel like he's under too much pressure. But with the national team, he scored a critical goal in the playoff against Iceland, which was the winner. And I love Sudokov. Sudokov, telling you people, if you haven't watched Sudokov, maybe you didn't watch Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League. This kid is a baller. I cannot wait to see what he does at this Euros because that guy is insane. Then you have Mikolenko, Zabarny. And, I said in my preview for Switzerland that Switzerland have the two best goalkeepers. What about Ukraine? They got Trubin and Lunin. Who would you actually start, people? Let me know in the comments down below and in the chat. Who would you start? Would you start Trubin or Lunin? Because if you haven't watched Trubin, this guy's been great for Benfica, even though Benfica have been pretty subpar this season. Lunin, we saw what he did with Real Madrid, basically got them to the final, winning on penalties against Man City. They got two excellent goalkeepers. So Ukraine are a very underrated team, but they cannot keep going down in every single game. Eventually, that's going to catch up to you. We saw that with Liverpool. Eventually caught up to Liverpool. Ukraine cannot do the same thing. They must take the lead and just keep it locked down. Let's see if Ukraine can do it. And then Belgium, I still think will win this group. They just have too much quality. They have a better attack. Now, if the goalkeeper was Courtois, I would say better goalkeeper, but it's not really Courtois. Defensively, I have raised my issues about them in my preview, but I think it can still be enough against Romania. It can still be enough against Slovakia and Ukraine. Although that Belgium-Ukraine game, that could be 2-2, 3-3, people. That might, you hear it first on the Michael Talks Football channel. Write it down, people, or bookmark it or whatever. Ukraine-Belgium might finish 3-3. It might be the best game of the group stage. Ukraine-Belgium. It's going to be elite. We might have to do a watch-along for that game. So, yeah, that's my prediction for Group B. Belgium first, Ukraine second, Romania third, Slovakia fourth. If anybody think that Romania or Slovakia could surprise and maybe finish second or first, do we see another crazy exit for Belgium in a major competition? And what about Ukraine? Can they continuously go 1-0 down and somehow come back in games? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below and in the chat right now as we get to the final group. Now, I want to say this quickly. I have not done my Portugal preview, so that Portugal preview will be uploaded either tomorrow or Wednesday. I've done all the rest of the team, so go check that out on the Euro playlist. Don't worry, people. I'll have more of a deep dive on the Portugal team, who I think should be starting. Should Ronaldo be starting? That'll be a very interesting conversation. But Group F then. We got Turkey, Portugal, and the debutants, the only debutants at this Euros, Georgia, and then Czechia. Now, I'm just going to do this quickly. So, they're going to be in first place. I mean, if Portugal somehow do not finish first in this group, Roberto Martinez might be one of the biggest frauds in the whole entire world of any sport. Much more of a fraud than Doc Rivers. Much more. But Portugal will win this group. Now, I'm going to go more of in-depth analysis on the team and how they're going to play and what we've seen so far with Roberto Martinez, but their team is just stacked, people. It is stacked with all sorts of ballers, with all sorts of different players. Portugal should be getting 9 points in this group. They should be. But if we've seen in the last couple of Euros, they don't always get 9 points. They struggle in the group stage. They really make it difficult for themselves. So Portugal, maybe under Roberto Martinez, and with some players that really want to like prove themselves on an international stage, I think Portugal, they should be winning this group, people. I mean, somehow Roberto Martinez bottles this. This guy is, all that effort and all this beating Luxembourg 9-0, 7-0, all this sort of crap. It was all forgotten then. If Roberto Martinez does not finish first in this group, it's all forgotten. But they're an elite team. Absolutely elite team. They have one of the best teams at this Euros. They should be going far. Hands down. Portugal have to be going far. Now, everybody, if you're watching on replay and the chat right now, I'm going to somewhat save my perspective on this. Drop a 1 in the chat if you think Ronaldo should start, and drop a 2 if you think he shouldn't start. And that's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to move on. Now, let's get to Turkey, Georgia, and Czechia. Sorry to my Georgians. I really wish I could say that they're going to surprise. I really wish that I could say Georgia are going to surprise. What I saw in Euro qualifiers is not convincing. It's not convincing. I have kind of discussed this in the group chat. You know, some people have said that, Georgia, they got lucky because they were in the Nations League playoffs, which I can agree with. I can definitely see that they got benefit of playing Luxembourg and Greece, even though Greece should have really won that game, but they just didn't show up. I really hope Georgia can prove me wrong and prove other people wrong that they deserve to be here and deserve to go far. Because we know the balls. Like Kvara is going to have to play like prime Michael Jordan. Prime Michael Jordan. It's going to have to be a crazy carry job by him. It's going to have to be like Allen Iverson when the 76ers made it to the final. That's what Kvara is going to have to do. They obviously got Georgios Mikautse. Hey, Uncle Mike, stop spamming. Oh, my God, Uncle Mike. You got Georgios Mikautse from Metz. Very good player. Very, very good player with Metz, even though he was terrible with Ajax, even though Ajax didn't really give him a fair opportunity. Elite striker. I think he's a really good striker. He should be making a move now that Metz got relegated. And then obviously Mamardashvili, the goalkeeper, who, if you watch La Liga, also very good goalkeeper, but with Valencia. The key for Georgia is they got to be very clinical in the counterattack because they're not going to keep a lot of possession of the ball. And when you watch a lot of their goals in qualifiers, a lot of them were just crosses into the box and somebody at the back post or in the near post. That's a lot. That's the style of Willy Sagnol ball. And is it going to work in this tournament? I just don't know. I don't know with Georgia. I really hope they prove us wrong. They are a good team, but maybe this is just too much. It is too much. Now let's get to the interesting debate. Who's going to finish second? Who do you put trust in, people? If you go by history, you would actually put faith in Turkey. Now let me explain why. The last, I think, 2 times that actually, I need to get this correct because I think it's the last 2 times these teams have met in a major competition, which is the Euros. Let me get that correct first before continuing, because I'm obviously 2008. We know what happened there, and 2016. I think Turkey have won the last. So yeah, the last time Czech Republic beat Turkey was in 2014. Since then, Turkey have won 3 straight games, and obviously in the major competitions in the Euros, Turkey have won them on 2 occasions in a row. So let's see. The funny thing is you cannot put any trust in these guys. You cannot put any trust in Turkey. They have some ballers, as I've discussed in my video. They have ballers, people. They really do. But they're just another team where you put any faith into them. Exactly. Turkey and Serbia are basically the same thing. You put any trust into these guys, they will make you cry. They will break your heart. Then when you have no expectation, you're like, oh my God, they actually showed up. They actually showed up. That's Turkey for you. Now, Czech Republic, I always rate them because, yeah, they might not have the greatest team. Back the one time when Czechia had expectations was 2006 World Cup, and they went out of the group stage. They had a phenomenal team then, but they went out of the group stage. Now they don't really have that expectation of going far in a tournament. If they make it to a quarterfinal, you're like, hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, Patrick Schick, obviously Hlosek, and these sort of guys, they're really going to have to be key. And if there's any Czech people in the chat or watching a replay, would you start Kovar in goal or Stanek? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. I would go, obviously I have not seen a lot of Stanek. I would go with Kovar because every time I've watched Kovar with Bayer Leverkusen, I'm like, this guy is an excellent backup goalkeeper. Really good. Crazy how many Czech players play for Bayer Leverkusen, actually. That's 3. Yeah, 3. Hlosek, Schick. But the key guy is, of course, Patrick Schick. Top goal scorer at the last Euros alongside Ronaldo. I want to say he's going to have another big tournament. So with that case, I'm going to go with Czech Republic second and Turkey third. Unless they can prove me wrong, I'm not going to go with it. Now, if this wants to work, there we go. Now, what teams are going to finish in third place for me? Well, definitely Austria, definitely Italy, Switzerland, and then it's between Denmark, Romania, and Turkey. Which one is it going to be? I don't think Romania are going to get enough points. I feel like Romania and Slovakia are going to both finish on 1 or 2 points. Both of them. Let's say, I think, yeah. Sorry, Turkey. I just don't think they're going to make it to the round of 16. I don't. They might get what's funny? Turkey might beat Portugal, but lose to Georgia and Czech Republic. Wouldn't shock me. That could possibly happen. But these would be my 4 teams that progress. Switzerland, Italy, Denmark, and Austria. Let me know your thoughts, people. And which 4 teams are the third place for you? So now we can continue on to the knockout stage then. Yes, I want to continue. There we go. Oh, really? It's a rematch again. Wait, there we go. Spain and Switzerland. Just like the quarterfinal at the last Euros. Spain and Switzerland. Now, if you're Swiss, you're thinking, this is not a bad matchup for them. It isn't. Because they have some good, decent players on to counterattack. Is it going to be enough against Spain or Switzerland? We always see this with Switzerland. They can be a funny team. They can be a funny team where they just surprise on one occasion. But I still think Spain are too much. They're too good for Switzerland. They're too good. They will control the game. They might concede a goal. Spain will somehow get the 2 goals, and that will be enough. Now, as much as I rate Slovenia, Germany are going to beat them. And Germany are going to beat Slovenia. Now, if Germany somehow to lose to Slovenia, that will be one of the biggest shocks. Hands down would be one of the biggest shocks. So then it would be Spain and Germany quarterfinal. Oh my God. Portugal and Denmark. Now, Portugal still got it. I don't have that much faith in Denmark. Denmark will definitely give a tough game, but Portugal will somehow win the game 3-1, and they will just have too much attack. For as well as Denmark have talent-wise, their midfield against Portugal's midfield will not be a contest. Morten Human, who obviously some Portuguese people know, is playing at Sporting, Morten Human has to start that game. He has to start that game because he will know some of the players on the Portuguese team, but Portugal will have too much for Denmark. They will have too much. Now, this game could be interesting. Netherlands and Ukraine could be interesting. 1, it could be high scoring. And 2, Ukraine could beat Netherlands. They could beat them. Is this the upset? Is this where the upset could happen? They did play against each other at the last Euros, And I really rate this Ukraine team. I think they can give a tough game to the Netherlands. Now, watch if I pick Ukraine, people are going to be like, or Dutch people are going to be like, Michael, you hate us. You don't rate us one bit. We have these quality players, which I agree. Definitely, Netherlands have some good players, and Ukraine too. I just wonder if the Ukraine style of football of always coming from behind is the way to do it. Now, the way the Ukraine could beat Netherlands is counterattacks with Modric, with Shankov, with Dovbyk, with Surakov. Those four could really hurt Netherlands. They could really hurt them. Oh, nah. I still think Netherlands would have too much. There is going to be an upset somewhere, and I think it could be that game. I think it could definitely be that game, but I just do not have enough conviction in myself to make that pick. Now, could Belgium and Italy, the exact same game as was it round of 16? No, quarterfinal. Sorry. Quarterfinal was Belgium, Italy. Imagine if Italy actually beat Belgium. After they went through the gauntlet of the group of death, Italy, or one of the group of deaths. And then they could beat Belgium. I think Italy are going to win this game. Yeah. I think Italy can nullify Belgium's attack with Lukaku, Doku, KDB, similar to what they did. Obviously, in that quarterfinal matchup, the one time Belgium actually looked threatening is when Doku came off the bench. And then Doku was he was tearing Italy up, absolutely tearing them up. But it was too little, too late. I think Italy could score enough goals to beat Belgium. I think they could lose because the one thing Italy would do, and especially with Spalletti is a very, very good coach. And it's funny how two former club managers who were just managing at club level, Tedesco and Spalletti, will go against each other in international football. So it'll be very tactically a good game. I just think Italy have enough. They just have enough to beat Belgium. I think it'll be a great game, though. I could see it being a very, very, very good game. France and Czechia. I mean, if France lose this game, Mbappe might be a fraud. Kidding. You want to hear those words. People want to hear those words. Now, France, they would have too much for Czechia. It's similar to when France played Poland at the World Cup in the round of 16. Maybe some people could say, yeah, maybe Poland could do it. No. France would have too much for Italy. For Czechia, excuse me, and maybe Italy. All right. Now it gets to some interesting matchups because Ralf Rangnick, who was absolutely crucified. Yes, Isaac, I was just kidding about Mbappe. It's a joke. England and Austria. Ralf Rangnick, who was absolutely crucified by the English media while he was at Man United. Crucified. Could get some revenge. But England have too much. No. They just... man. If David Alaba and Schlager were healthy, I would be so tempted to pick Austria. This is actually a very bad matchup for England. Because one is Austria will play like a club team, which could actually leave themselves exposed. And then, we know England with the quality forwards they have. You know who would have been a very good player for this game? Would actually have been Rashford. Because they would need some pace on the wings. Because Austria, with their pressing, with obviously Ralf Rangnick football, they would try and sort of suffocate England. But the midfield for England, maybe in years past with Henderson and these sort of guys, Calvin Phillips, they could not break the press. They got Declan Rice, Kobe Mainu, Gallagher, obviously Cole Palmer or Foden or Bellingham who play in that midfield. England would be able to break that press, and then they would have so much space. I think it would be a bad matchup for Austria, and maybe Ralf Rangnick would tweak his tactics a little bit, not really go with his style of football. That would actually be a really good game. And do not be shocked if Austria beat England. I will say that now. Do not be shocked, but yeah, I just don't. Just not enough. Now, this will be a very fascinating game. Is Hungary and Croatia, because I love both teams. Absolutely love both teams. This was another one when I was doing my brackets like a week ago. I was like, oh man, I cannot choose either team, man. Can both teams go through? Can both teams go through? Oh man, I really want to pick Croatia, but I got to go with Hungary, man. I said they're my dark horses. I've said it from a long time ago. And I am not disrespecting Croatia one bit. I absolutely love Croatian football. These guys are net. But one thing I will say is Croatia have not done very well in Euros. They've not really done well in Euros. And maybe Hungary, with their style of play, it's going to be a very sort of fascinating game in a sense that Hungary could be a very dynamic team on the counterattack. But if Croatia would be smart in this game, if this was a round of 16 matchup, is if you just nullify Szoboszlai, then the other players for Hungary really got to step up. You got to step up. So, people will say, "Oh, Michael, why are you overrating Hungary? I mean, why are you rating Hungary so much?" I'm not really rating them that highly. They have proven. Did this team not just beat England 4-0 like in the last 2 years? Did we not forget that? Hey, look, it's showing thumbs down. Hey, maybe it's showing thumbs down for the pick. There's going to be one surprise team in this quarterfinal, and I think it will be Hungary. I haven't picked a lot of upsets, people. We always see this. Denmark, Czechia, they were in the quarterfinal last time around, and they played against each other. So you're going to have an upset. Switzerland, they upset France. There's going to be an upset somewhere, people. Where is it going to be? That's why I want to see your predictions in the comments down below. See, I was so tempted by the Ukraine-Netherlands, but I just did not have enough conviction. Now, I don't think these are all... See, I would love to say that these are going to be the quarterfinal matchups, but we see this always in international tournaments, Champions League, Conference League, Europa League, Copa Libertadores, AFC Champions League. We don't get the quarterfinals we want. If these were the quarterfinals, let me zoom out, people. Let me zoom out. It would be Spain, Germany, Portugal, Netherlands, Italy, France, England, Hungary. Let's continue. Let's continue. Spain and Germany. Yeah, Germany are beating Spain. Germany got to get some revenge. Didn't Spain beat them 6-1 a couple of years ago during COVID? I think it was the COVID. It was during the Nations League. Germany, put some respect on your badge, on your nation. Beat Spain. Beat them. And I think Jamal Musiala, Florian Wirtz, it was 6-0. Oh my God, it was 6-0. It wasn't even 6-1. I think the key players would be a Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala. I think that's where they have the advantage. If you put the two defenses up against each other, Germany have a better defense. Who has the better goalkeeper? Germany. Maybe the area where Spain are better is the midfield. But then if you look at Germany's midfield, Toni Kroos, Gundogan, Andrich, I can go on and on. So I think Germany, they just would have too much. They would have too much for Spain. Spain is making it to the quarterfinal. I don't really think that's a bad achievement. And then you're going up against Germany. Spain would have had to already played Italy, Croatia, Albania, Switzerland, and then they would have to face Germany. Like, that's going through a gauntlet. That really is. But I don't think it would be a massive disappointment if Spain went out in this quarterfinal. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be. Let's continue. Now, I need somebody to... I don't think anybody would know. If this game, Portugal-Netherlands, is in Nuremberg, oh God, are we going to get a repeat of when these teams met last time in Germany? You remember the last time these two teams met in Germany, people? That was straight up Murder City. Oh, it was absolute. The most cards ever in a World Cup game. What was it like? 5 reds and some ridiculous amount of yellows. I can't remember the amount of yellows. That was just... If you haven't watched the highlights of that game, I would actually recommend it. Because there was nothing. But, what was that? 2006. So now, 18 years after that, they meet again in Germany. Portugal, Netherlands. Very good point, Brandon. It did make Mortal Kombat look like Disneyland. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, Portugal, Netherlands. It would be a really good game. I think it would be actually a high scoring game. Because while Portugal have good players on paper in defense, it's Roberto Martinez. I just cannot trust the guy, but I still think Portugal would have too much for Netherlands. They would have too much. Now that semifinal is going to be epic, though. Can Netherlands beat Portugal? 100% they can. Where Netherlands would have to beat Portugal is the midfield. They have to win that midfield battle. So Frankie de Jong, Koopmeiners, Xavi Simons, Mats Wiefer, whoever's going to play in that midfield will have to boss who's ever in that midfield for Portugal. Because Portugal got a better defense. Oh, no, actually, it's quite 50-50. But who's got a better attack? No doubt it is Portugal. And Portugal will make it to the semifinals. So let us continue then, people. We have two more quarterfinals, and then we get to the semifinals. Italy, France. Again in Germany. Nah. No. Sorry, Italy. Sorry, man. I think, actually, you know what? If Italy make it to a quarterfinal, that would be good. That would actually be a good achievement. For all the players they're missing, the one thing Spalletti just has to build upon is confidence with this team. And if you give a competitive game to France, I think that will build some confidence within these players. And they're missing some guys. Go to the qualifiers and qualify for the damn World Cup. Losing to France is not a bad achievement. But we've seen in the past, I think Italy could surprise France. They could definitely surprise them, but not this time around. I think France are on a mission here. They're on a mission. And the last quarterfinal then is England and Hungary. Actually, I was so tempted because there's going to be one surprise team in the semifinal, but maybe not this year. Maybe not this year. I would love to say Hungary, but I think England will get their revenge. But if Hungary do it, I will buy a Szoboszlai kit. I want to do a madness. I want to create carnage. Release the hounds. Release the hounds. But I think England will know the threat that Hungary have. They've played them twice. It's not this element of surprise where, oh, man, yeah, maybe England should be worried. No, England will know the threat that Hungary have. When they got beat down at home 4-0. Now, yes, England had sort of a B team that day. It was in, where was the game at? Wolves? I think the game was at Wolves. Strange environment. England will be much more prepared for Hungary, and they will beat them. But if there's one team that could beat England, it is Hungary. They just have that system. Marco Rossi is a much better manager than Southgate, and he could conjure up something. But no, I think England will have a little bit too much. It might even go to penalties. We'll not be shocked about if it goes to penalties. So then the semifinals are very epic, as we have France and England and Germany and Portugal. All right. My first finalist will be... Actually, you know what? When you break this down, Germany would be on such a momentum here. They would be on such a momentum. I think they're going to get 7 points in their group. They're going to beat Slovenia. They're going to beat Spain. Do you know the sort of confidence that Germany would have heading into this game with the crowd? The crowd would be all behind them. The momentum that Toni Kroos would have, the momentum that maybe a Gundogan, that a Rudiger, Jonathan Tah, Neuer, Mittelstadt, Kimmich. Let's see how Havertz is going to play. But Portugal got ballers too. That game is going to be elite. It might be a very cagey game, that sort of scenario. Could it be also Ronaldo's last game with Portugal? We never know, because he might not show up at that World Cup. So there could be some two legends that could retire after that game. Could. I'm just saying could. I just think Germany would have too much for Portugal. As much as I love the Portuguese national team, I think Germany will be making it to the final, which is just crazy to me. If you told me this a year ago, Michael, Germany are going to play in the Euros final, I said you are smoking crack and drinking all the beer at the Oktoberfest. Yeah, I would say that. But I think they got the momentum. And Nagelsmann is cooking up something. He is cooking up the best soup in the world. He's cooking up the best soup. So Germany would make it to the final for me. And now who will be the other team in that final? Is it going to be France or England? Oh my God. A rematch of the quarterfinal of the World Cup where I don't think Southgate did anything wrong. Southgate did nothing wrong in that game. It was all down to Harry Kane missing the penalty. And obviously Chouameni scoring a ridiculous goal and Giroud scoring, was it the back post? I remember. Yeah, Giroud with the header. France and England would be an epic game. Where England could definitely beat France is with the center backs. Because Kane going up against the Saliba or Konate. Yes, look, Saliba is a monster and Konate are very good for club-wise. What I've seen with them with the national team has not been good enough still. So that's why I'm intrigued to see what center back pairing Deschamps is going to go with at these Euros. Because if it is Saliba and Konate, can they build enough partnership? Because I think France will concede a goal in pretty much every game. They might even concede to Poland, even the Czechia, because they were not great defensively. But the one thing that bails out every time for France is Mbappe and Griezmann. And those are the two difference makers. But you know what, people? I have said this for a very long time now. I think England are going to win this Euros. Yeah, I think everybody is slandering Southgate and saying tactically he's not good. In this game in the semifinals, tactics are out of the way. It's about the players. Who's got more quality? Who has more desire? Who wants to make it to the final? Who wants to make it to the final? Do you guys want to win it now? They have to get it done. Thank you very much. Have to get it done. I think England are going to beat France. You know, everybody's going to go for the easy pick. Oh, let's just go for France and Germany final. Let's just go for a France-Portugal final. But nobody's really talking about England. Well, yes, some people are talking about England winning it. Maybe, and you know, people, I am definitely not the biggest fan of the Premier League or English media. But I think they can do it. If it had Southgate taken, let's say, a Henderson, because you cannot criticize Maguire. Maguire actually for England is a very good center back. When was a bad game for Maguire for England? When was it? The only issue I have with England heading into this tournament is really the left back. Who's going to play there? And can you fit Foden, Bellingham, Saka, and even Cole Palmer? Shout out to Cole Palmer. Had an excellent season with England, but is it going to be enough to start? How do you fit all of those guys? But I think England will figure it out. They will grow into this tournament. This will be their first big test. They haven't faced a test yet. Obviously, Hungary could pose a massive threat to them, I would say. But no, I am not English, Dennis. I am definitely not English. But I think England will make it to the final. And people, you want a blockbuster final? How about that? How about that? Yeah? You want boring? That ain't boring. Yeah, no, I'm sure you can never bet against them. No, you definitely cannot. I love an underdog story. Is that the case now? I love an underdog story. Now England have a let's be honest, people. Where would you rank England's squad? Like if you just look on paper. Wait, yo, did this man just say that England Germany is boring? Yeah. I'm from Finland, by the way. I'm from Finland. Do you know how epic this final would be in Germany? Look, I don't need to go down the history. I don't need to go down the history of these two countries. But if this was the final in Berlin, and imagine if England win it in home soil to end Toni Kroos's career. Nah, like that would be too glorious for England to win their first ever Euros. Are Germany going to do it? Are Germany going to do it? After all of the criticism that we thrown at them last year. Remember, I had an emergency live stream, people, when they lost to Japan 4-1. I had that emergency live stream. I said, this team are done. Flick has to go. He has to go ASAP. So, oh my God. This would be such an epic final, people. Oh, I would absolutely, the amount of storylines, the narratives, everything. You have so many talking points. You have ballers on all sides of the field. Germany have a better goalkeeper. Defensively, I would still lean towards England. They might not be better on paper, but I think they could frustrate Germany. Midfield-wise, I mean, you got Declan Rice. Nah, Germany have better midfield. Germany have a better midfield. Now, the attack is where I think England have better. I think that's where they have a much better attack is England. Oh, you know what, people? I've been saying it for a while. I think they're going to win it. I think England are going to win this Euros. And people are going to say, oh, Michael, they're the Tottenham of international football. You can never trust them. Yada, yada, yada. I get it. I get it. I fully agree. England don't have the greatest history. They have never won the Euros. I get it. But everybody will pick France. Everybody will pick Germany. Everybody will pick. And you guys can say no chance, which fair enough. I would agree. Am I confident in this pick? Hell no. Hell no. But I do have a strange feeling that even though there's a lot... No, Encore, I'm not. Yeah, I don't do this. I don't do this, right? I don't do this. You can clip it up. Clip it up, right? I could look like a total idiot, and England could lose to Hungary in the quarterfinals. But I did say that I would be very worried about that game if you're English, because we know Hungary could beat them. But there is something I did predict, though, at the last World Cup that Argentina would win. And who won? Who won? Who won? Argentina. Although I did pick Denmark in the final. Oh, let's move on. England, they don't have great history. Yes, you could say they're bottle jobs and this sort of narrative and that. Oh, you can never trust this team. Southgate's a bum. Sack him. Get somebody else. Get Pep Guardiola to manage the English national team, which really he will never do. I think England can... I don't know. I just got a feeling, people. You can never predict the winner. Everybody can say, oh, yeah, tactically they could win this tournament because of this, this, and that. It's just a feeling for me. It is. That England could destroy Germany's happy party, Toni Kroos's final game, and win the Euros for the first time ever. And on the way, beating France, like England would have a very tough final two games, but it would be glorious. And I know I'm going to get ridiculed for this in the comments, but, you know, everybody's going to have a different opinion. That's why people, Spike. I would say actually some people did predict Italy. I would say that because they had a lot of good momentum. They still had Chiellini and Bonucci. They had a very good spine of the team. I think a lot of people just underrated Italy in that tournament. I think they did. But yeah, everybody, there is the predictions then. So after all of that talking, all of that, I think England will win the Euros this summer. And I will repeat it one more time. I am not confident in this pick. Not confident one bit. But that's why we're going to react to every game. And then when England draw against Slovenia, we're all going to say, Michael, you are a bum. You know nothing about football. Michael talks rubbish. Hey, we will be there. We will be there because everybody, I want to hear your predictions in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win the Euros? Who is going to be the biggest flop? And who will also be the top goal scorer at the European Championship? My pick is Mbappe. I think Mbappe will show up at these Euros. But I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments down below. But thank you. Big up to Hitman. Thank you very much for your kind donation, buddy. He says, who's going to flop? Who's going to flop? Well, if I go with my predictions, see, there's not really like a big team that's going to flop. I don't think any big team will. It's very difficult in the Euros as well to see a big team go out. I really don't think Belgium are going to go far. If you want to say they should be, I think Belgium between that 5th and 8th tier. Yeah, I would say Belgium are going to flop. They have a very good attack, but once they go up a against a good team like an Italy, Portugal, one of these sides, I think Belgium will lose. Other than that, I would say Netherlands. Those would be my 2 picks of teams who could flop. And Spain, because Spain, while they could control games and they have a very good attack, their defense cannot be trusted. So those would be my 3 picks. Would be Belgium, Netherlands, and Spain. But I still think they would go far. Big up to Ward. Says, Golden Boot winner, my pick is Mbappe. Who's everybody's pick? Who would you pick to be the Golden Boot winner? And have we reached, we reached 125 likes. Hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for your kind support to the channel. Big up to Hitman, and thank you to Tendime for your earlier donations to the channel. And I really want to appreciate you all for the kind support during the preview videos. Really a lot of support on them. I really appreciate it. If you want to join the Discord, actually, I'm going to drop the Discord link right now in the chat while I am doing that. You guys all get your thoughts as I'm going to head out in the next 5 minutes, because still got some editing to do, and I still got the Portugal preview to come out tomorrow. Everybody, as I say this every time, I'm doing a lot of work. I'm doing all the editing, doing all the thumbnails. It's tough. It's a tough life. All right, so let me just quickly drop the link for the Discord so you can join the discussion. See you. Yes, we're definitely going to talk about Portugal there. All right, there we go. Discord link is there. So if you guys want to join the Discord, it is right there with the pin. I'll be live for about 2 more minutes taking your shout out, Mike. Shout out, Mr. Bader. How you doing? Shout out Lulian. Shout out to you as well. Hello. Right. Yeah, but I would say Netherlands. Et sä tiennyt, Kimo, et sä tiennyt, mä oon suomalainen. Niin, mun aksentti ei ole oikeastaan suomalainen, kun mä puhun englantia. Mutta kiitos. I am Finnish. I am. Ooh, favorite and least favorite kit. Well, I mean, this has to be the best kit. I mean, come on. This is the best kit. The worst kit? Oh, who had a bad kit? Oh, I remember seeing a really bad kit. Who was it from? Was it the Romania home kit that was really bad? I think it was the Romania home kit. Yeah, I tried to. Yeah, I think it was the Romania home kit. That was a really bad one. Go ahead. Oh yeah, Serbia's wasn't that fire either. That wasn't really fire. Yeah, but there we go, everybody. Georgia, the Luton town of the Euros. No, not really. Tuolla aksentti. Kyllä mä oon asunut pari vuotta ainakin Jenkeissä. Mä oon asunut pari vuotta Jenkeissä. But everybody, there we go. Remember to check out all the previews of all the teams, everybody. It's on the Euro playlist on the channel. So if you go to the playlist, you see Euros, you can find a preview for every nation. Obviously, still got one more nation to do, which is Portugal. And then I'm going to probably drop a video later this week about best 11, combined 11 from all the nations, but only picking one player from nation. So obviously can't have 2 French players or 2 German players. So that video will come out later this week. And also got all the Copa America previews to upload still. So we got a lot of videos, people. So if you want international football content, I'm going to be covering the Copa America and the Euros as best as I can, because obviously the Copa America is going to be late at night. So mostly I have to go by the highlights, which is not great either. But I will definitely be doing reviews of the games there. And also next week, Monday is going to be my Copa America predictions live stream. So join me for that. We're going to go through each group and who I think will be watching, who will be winning the Copa America. So we got you covered here, people. We're not going to talk transfers or that sort of crap or Fabrizio Romano. As much as I love Fabrizio Romano, why on earth is he tweeting about the comunicado for Real Madrid? Brother, you're a journalist. Oh, Fabrizio, man. He was a man for the streets, and now he's just a finance bro. That's what he is. Sad to see for Fabrizio. But one last time, everybody, I'll play the intro, and this is going to be the intro throughout the tournament. So remember to hit the notification bell as well, because we're going to go live after the games, having a match reactions. Maybe for some of the games, we'll do a watch along, maybe for Belgium, Ukraine. I don't want to just do the big games because we know all the channels are going to try and do the big games. But everybody, have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Remember to follow me on all these social medias, Instagram, Twitter. All of those are in the description down below. And if you want to support the channel, become a member or join the Patreon, because I have one Patreon video dropping later this week. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Until next time, adios.
Intenta irse por velocidad.
Here's Hammett, and it may get worse. It's Nihat! Turkey have won it, surely! Oh, it's extraordinary!
Il y a du monde, il y a du monde, il y a Trezeguet. Ah oui. L'équipe de France est championne d'Europe. L'équipe de France est championne d'Europe. Siamo campioni d'Europa.